The essays in this collection plumb the question of context in many different ways, and their concerns spring from those precipitated by much early work on freakery, whereas other critics have discussed the ways in which definitions of normalcy were generated by marginalizing various groups of people. These essays look to press this question further, opening an exploration of the ways in which freakery emerged in a particular social context, and may have even participated in social change and in the politics of mainstream culture. As Rachel Adams has argued, the vast majority of criticism has assumed a kind of docile silence on the part of both the freaks themselves and their audience. This has even translated into a sensibility that imagines that freaks were distant from ordinary people and removed from everyday life. Adams resists the notion of freak show silence, however, arguing that freaks talk back. The experts lose their authority. The audience refuses to take their seats. This collection looks for this dialogue in subtle and explicit ways. The essays on imperialism, for example, look to the way in which discourses of science, from Darwinian theory to medicine, were joined to freakery and deployed to do scientific work and work of empire. These essays also explore and speak to the tensions in British self-definition between consumer desire and material self-control. Others look at the relationship between the freak and the audience and the use of freakishness as a metaphor in other culturally marginal contexts. In all of these ways, these essays ask how freaks talked back to mainstream culture in Britain, and how this helped shape mainstream culture. The authors here examine freaks' pitch narratives, product advertisements, handbills, newspaper accounts, medical debates and texts, art, literature, cartes de visite, and diaries. Future research might explore the ways in which the British theatre, museum, and publishing industries affected notions of freakishness, and think about how British involvement in the West Indies and Africa also shaped cultural concepts of freakery. Overall, the essays here attempt to centralize the question of cultural impact, to move beyond individual psychology. When people watched Julia Pastrana, most of whose entire body was covered in coarse black hair, dance and sing on stage, they had more than simply an individual or personal experience. Those moments were also social events that affected life inside and outside the freak show. Poets, gentlemen, and prose writers such as Arthur Munby memorialized their experience of her for a Victorian audience. This cultural exchange was no less lively when her manager husband had Pastrana and her infant embalmed, stuffed, encased in glass, and put on tour again after their birthing bed deaths. What this meant in Victorian Britain was something different from what it meant in America, or France, or any other part of the world.